Practically every video I've seen about the X100VI touches on its allegedly amazing video capabilities. But yeah, it seems I hardly ever hear from anyone who's ever actually used it to shoot anything. So let's see what it's really made of. Let me start off by telling you my vision for the X100VI. The whole point I actually bought this silly, overpriced point-and-shoot camera. I wanted basically a B camera or a backup camera, side camera, whatever you want to call it, for casual days out. And I know you're following me so far because I'm the 728th YouTuber to say that, but here's where my expectations get kind of out of hand. Seeing as it's got IBIS and some decent but not mind-blowing, pretty solid video specs, plus a built-in ND filter, it seems only natural that it might be a decent video camera. Long story short, I thought the X100VI might be the camera that I could use for photo and video on more casual days out where I don't feel like doing bicep curls with my XH2S all day. And recently I spent a whole day with it in my hand, the exact type of day that I would want a camera like the X100VI for both photo and video, and I captured kind of a whole lazy Sunday by our little place near the beach here in LA. So I just want to say, I know it's a lot to ask from a camera that is decidedly and loudly not a video camera to function as a video camera. But it is still important to me to see if I can make this work, and I honestly think Fuji did a decent job of keeping this use case in mind when they designed the X100VI. But I do want to be very fair and say that I'm not going to sit here and judge Fuji, and I'm not going to say that the Fuji X100VI is good or bad based on its video performance. That would be totally unfair. This is all just to find out if my dream of a run and gun hybrid point and shoot is possible in this little package. Now that out of the way, I must also say this. If you're watching this video hoping that the X100VI is a pocket-sized cinema camera, it's just not. Do not buy this camera for video. Do not fall into the trap of thinking that just because it's got similar specs to something like the X-T5 or the XH2, that it'll perform just like either of those cameras. Frankly, it can only really be described as clunky and tedious in the video department. Switching drive modes from photo to video is definitely the most egregious part of trying to use the X100VI for video. It's not horrible, it's definitely better than the Pro 3 in that it's at least faster at snapping into video mode, but it does still take a second. It definitely takes you out of it, especially, when you switch into the video mode before your photos finish buffering, from a burst, and you have too much time to sit there and ponder the meaning of life while your camera freezes. Again, I'm not talking down on the X100VI. This is not a video camera. I'm not surprised that there are some definite ergonomic and quality of life compromises being made here. The battery life is also downright terrible. I mean, even for stills, it's not incredible, especially if you're like me and you're using cheap Amazon batteries. But video really eats through them. If you're gonna do video with this in addition to photo, I would strongly recommend having like 3 or 4 batteries in your bag. Throw in the fact that it's only got 1 card slot. Yeah, just can't really advise doing any super important once in a lifetime, paid work or anything like that with it. And also, you've heard this before, but I'm gonna come down a little harder on it. Anything above the most basic non-downsampled 4K settings are going to mean a slight crop in. It's either 1.23 or 1.25, I think. May not sound like a lot, but for me, I'm used to using pretty wide lenses when it comes to video, and I find 35 to be already a little tighter than I'm used to. So that little bump up to 42 or 3 millimeters, whatever it is, it's actually kind of a deal breaker for me, but that's just my personal use case. If 40 is like your favorite focal length for shooting short films or cinematics or video or whatever, yeah, I would recommend doing the downsampled 6K, but I personally don't. And honestly, I keep my settings pretty lightweight across the board to save on battery life, to keep it from overheating in the sun, and yeah, of course, to keep it from getting cropped in and pushed even tighter than 35 millimeter. So yeah, the X100VI is a fantastic camera, and the fact that it even has the video specs that it does and that I'm able to get the output that I can with it is incredible. But yeah, let me de-influence you. Do not be out here thinking that you can start your, professional videography services with like just the X100VI or something. So let's talk about expectations. My goal is never to get the cleanest 4K 60 footage downsampled from 6.2K with astronomical bit rates or anything like that. I'm not shooting the next Avengers here. I don't even really push my XH2S that hard. If anything, you could probably make the argument that I'm underusing it. Vast majority of the time, my settings are fairly simple: 200 megabits a second, just 4K downsample from 6.2K on the XH2S. So, I mean, it's not like I'm really pushing my cameras that hard to begin with. And on top of that, I'm not even using F-Log2 with this camera, because I find that if you don't give F-Log2 enough bit rate, it's really, really tough to work with in the color department. So I'm using F-Log with a bit rate of 100 for most of these clips. I think I pushed it to 200 just to see if there was a huge difference. But yeah, really lightweight settings. Mostly I just wanted to see how the handheld video recording was gonna be. Even taking a few steps or walking with the camera, I expected it to be a lot like the T5, and the T5's IBIS I found to be really, really jittery and hard to use for video. Obviously it's a system that's designed for a photography camera, so I think it's fine that it's not the best, smoothest IBIS in the world out there, but I was actually pleasantly surprised by the X100VI. I don't know if it's got a different IBIS system than the T5. Honestly, I didn't even bother to do that technical research, which maybe I should have done for this video, but yeah, I'm just saying I found it a little smoother and a little easier to work with, and just a little less shaky overall than I found the T5, so I was really surprised about that. Stabilizing a bit in post, or even just rolling with a bit of shakiness if you're like me and you don't mind that documentary found footage style every now and then, totally doable, totally workable, at least for my taste. If you're wanting like gimbal level stability, I would probably not recommend hand holding any camera, but the X100VI actually performs really admirably, I found. And honestly, it was just fun to create with. I played with a bunch of different settings, but like I said, I mostly kept it pretty light. I found that the best approach is just not to take it all that seriously, use it exactly for what I said I was going to. Capturing a quick casual day out in video and photo, totally doable with this camera, and honestly, I was really, really happy with the results. When you add in the built-in ND filter, it actually made for a pretty competent video package. I was able to keep my frame rate at 1/48 because I shoot at 24 frames per second most of the time. Most of the day, there were only a couple points where I had to bump it up a little because I was getting into apertures like f/16 and stuff, trying to keep the exposure correct at that low of a shutter speed. So the ND filter isn't super dark, but obviously, like, I'm not gonna fault Fuji for not having a V&D filter, that goes from like 2 to 7 stops in a point and shoot camera. That would be ridiculous. So this is very much a case of, I've been here before with a camera that very much fell on its face when I tried to push it into the video department. department, and this is a really welcome improvement over that. And I've long said that I'm probably not going to keep the X100VI. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that I picked it up primarily because I found an insane deal that I couldn't turn down, and it was more curiosity than actually wanting the camera. So what the X100VI really has done for me is it's made me really excited about the next generation of other Fuji cameras. Like, honestly, I'm really curious about the X-E5, and I'm really interested, like I know everybody else is, in the Pro 4, because if I could get pretty similar results out of the Pro 4 to what I've seen in the X100VI, that could be my go-to fun camera for a long time, for many years. I mean, really beyond that, I'm not sure what else I'd really change about the Pro 3 or the X100VI. If I could just kind of marry them together, that'd be pretty perfect. So yeah, honestly, this is the most positive video I think I've made about Fujifilm in a while, so hopefully you enjoyed me hating less on them and the footage as well. A couple notes to round things out here. If you're looking at the X100VI for video and you're watching this thinking, maybe I need a little more firepower, the XM5 seems like a good deal to me. Having the articulating screen I think would help a lot. There's also stuff like the XS20. You don't have to go full XH2S, hybrid, huge body, but at the same time you can get a pretty solid video camera in that body as well. So maybe check those out if the X100VI doesn't seem like it's gonna do it for you. But if you're like me and you want to snag just a couple of casual video clips on a more laid back day out, honestly the X100VI does just fine. I managed my expectations going into it. I knew it wasn't this pocket-sized cinema camera or anything, but it honestly exceeded everything that I expected it to be able to do. So that's gonna do it. Thanks as always for the support, for watching. You guys know it means the world to me. I will be back very soon next Monday with a new video, and until then, I'll talk to you next time.